firstly, I think the theater experience is unique because it's live. That's the most important thing, I think. And so it's a bonding experience between the actors and the audience. Each performance, you have a special experience, and if I think if the cast is really connected to each other and to the audience and feeding off of the audience, there's a real special relationship that's formed. And I know that, at Kentwood especially, I mean, a lot of theaters, you when you're in a show and you greet people after the show. And at Kentwood they do this as well, where the cast comes out and greets the audience, and people are just so appreciative. And I think it's because you have that special moment in time with them, that you have created this unique experience. And so every performance of a show you do, each is its own unique experience. And um, that's just something you can't replace. I think that's what makes it such a beautiful thing, and it moves people. I get moved as an actor. I learn new things about myself. I create new relationships that are, part of a show. With those actors, my fellow actors on stage, you create relationships with these characters, and that carries over into the audience, and we all are changed by it. So I think that's why it's so special. I actually auditioned for a show way back in the early 90s first. I didn't get cast in. And that's my first, like, I knew of Kentwood prior to that. I'd seen it in the audition notices. I'd seen it, I'd heard about it. I had friends who did shows there, and I really was interested in it. So I'd heard a lot about it. I'd heard a lot about people. For example, one person who's a very as in the local theater circles, she's, in my book, she's very well known and she's very good at what she does. Vicki Miller. She's someone who choreographed a lot at Kentwood. She directs Kentwood. She's choreographed at other theaters and directed at other theaters, and so I kept seeing her name. And so finally, I auditioned again for a production of Guys and Dolls, and I got cast as Adelaide there. And actually, the director of that show, again, it becomes a small world again. The director of that production of Guys and Dolls was a wonderful person that I had done. He had worked in the theater where I did the first show I ever did. He was not involved in our production, but I think he was working box office or something. He was part of the theater group. And so we knew each other. And so I was lucky enough to get cast in that show, which was choreographed by Vicki Miller. And I kind of felt like I was, wow, this is great. She was like my choreographing. I wanted to be like her. She was my she didn't know it, but she was kind of my mentor in a way. And so when I joined that show, I just realized that Kentwood was a really, really special place to be. It had, and still has a huge membership group. I mean, relative to other theaters that I worked in, and I worked in a lot of local theaters, it has a huge group of members who care about the theater and really love it. And they are all walks. They want to do things backstage. They want to do things administratively. They want to do things on stage. It's just the whole gamut. People that are set designers and lighting designers. And they were doing really, really quality work. And I actually had seen, I realized now I'd actually seen, I think, a production or two there in previous years. And I really thought it was an amazing theater. So I joined during Guys and Dolls and never looked back. It just seemed like the right place to be. It was a true family. Granted, we're all a bit, dysfunctional in our way, a dysfunctional family. That's the only kind of family you can have. So that was what started it all. Other playwrights, other people playwrights, directors, people who want to produce, who want to work backstage, who want to work on stage. Everyone should want to become part of Kentwood, because and I know I'm a little biased, but I really feel that we are a community theater, but we are the most, I think, one of our we've been voted on or something as the best, most professional community theater organization around. And that's really true. We have some really amazing people designing sets, producing shows, working in our tech booth, working in our light booth, designing lights, doing sound. We have some amazing people in our costume area. We just have such a solid foundation, and we really want to encourage directors, performers, anyone who just would like to be involved. We need people, all walks of people. We need people who want to help with hospitality, people who want to help with our ticket booth, who want to help us create our programs, who want to help us to get volunteers, reach out to volunteers, or help us get donations or write grants. There's just so much to do at our theater. There's so much. And we are really at a moment in our life, I think, where we are just about to just really open up and blossom. I mean, we've been, it's the theater has, we've been around for almost 75 years, and it is a very it's a well-run, well-oiled machine, and has been for a very long time. Our forefathers that created this theater put together a structure that really lends itself to putting on excellent productions. And we've taken that structure and we've added on to it as times have changed and the world has changed. And it's just, we're a great place to be. It's a great place to be. And I would love others to come and join us. Theaters like Kentwood, and there are many, I think we're all in the same position, where, when you put on a production, there are costs involved. There are costs involved with royalties and with the rental of the music, and with the production costs, and paying for costumes, paying for sets, all of that kind of thing. And as everyone knows, when we reopened with after COVID, one thing we've learned is, unfortunately, even if we were to have a full house every night, we would just barely get by. And I think this is true for all theaters, community theaters like Kentwood, that unfortunately the nature of reality is that we cannot survive on our main stage productions alone. We need donation support. We need sponsorship support. We need that support so that we can thrive, and also expand the choice of plays that we do, so that we can pull in new and diverse audience members, tell stories that we haven't told before. And so all of those things, we really need support from the community, from anyone that is in a situation where they can assist. And I do want to mention also that we do have sponsorships for all of our shows and for the production of 9 to 5. I mean, we request sponsorships for all of our shows, I should say. And for 9 to 5, we have a local business, the Collins Law Group, who is sponsoring this production, which is just amazing for us. They actually have also, with their sponsorship, they get one performance that's all theirs. So they are getting that, which we are really excited about. But that is the kind of support that will help our theater thrive and be able to kind of stretch our creative juices, if you will, and reach out and do new things that our surrounding communities want to see and want to experience, besides just what we do for our audiences. And we're always looking for new audiences. We always need new audiences. We always need to speak to new communities that we haven't spoken to before. I think that's really the main goal of any theater, is to share stories of people who need to have their stories shared. That's why we need donation support, sponsorship support, membership support, so that we can continue to stretch and tell those other stories. I do want to say, I think that we have a really, really hard-working group of people right now that is involved both with our board and this current production and upcoming productions. I mean, we're always one show ahead. We're always working on the next show, and it's hard work, but it's fun work, and it's very rewarding work. It's challenging work, and we're always learning. So I just can't urge enough that, people who are interested, come and join us. We have membership meetings every third Wednesday of the month, and we welcome new people all the time. We look forward to it.